Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're listening to WCEG Network. We are the worldwide community empowerment group. We're here to speak life into the community. Log in to WCEGtalkradio.com. Watch us live on your smart TV, Roku cable channel, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I'm attorney Mel LaGrone, and I am your host today of Beyond the Border, where we talk all things immigration. Subscribe free on YouTube channel WCEG Network. Like us on Facebook and Instagram. Connect with us on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Threads. Download our free WCEG mobile app. Alexa, play WCEG Talk Radio. Listen to WCEG on any of your 12 podcast distribution platforms. Woo! We are doing it, y'all. Last but not least, our disclaimer: the topics and opinions are those of your show host and guest and not of WCEG Network. Thank you all for your continued support. Oh my gosh, welcome, welcome, welcome back. It is, can you guys believe it is September of 2024? Time has flown. There is so much going on in the world. Things are crazy, things are great, and I am so excited to be back here on WCEG to talk all things immigration. Because you know, there's a lot of things going on when it comes to immigration. So I'm going to fill you guys in today a little bit, probably within the next like 30, 45 minutes. But I also want to give you some updates on life because life for me has been so amazing. Okay, so amazing. I just got back from NOLA. All right. So I was in Louisiana, New Orleans at a Women in Leadership conference. When I tell you this conference was everything and has got me so pumped up, it is crazy. So, the Women in Leadership Conference, because I got to give you guys a little plug for my girl, is hosted by Betty Aquino. And Betty Aquino is here in Atlanta, Georgia. She is a community leader. She is a phenomenal woman. She is awesome, awesome, awesome. So if you guys want to see some great content and everything like that, go on my Facebook page, and I'll give you the link in a little while later um, to see what we were doing at the Women in Leadership Conference because it was fabulous. We had, I don't know, it's like over 100 people, 100 fabulous women from around the world. There were speakers, there was events, there was New Orleans jazz bands, and Betty Aquino just brought it. And if you ever want to check out her information, it's willbybetty.com. And like I said, she is fabulous. But as for me, like, and what else I've been doing, so as you all know, who's been following me, social media, WCEG, things like that, I just returned back to Atlanta from St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Um, and you know how life just you got to move with the flow of life, okay? When you start feeling things, when you need to reset, you need to regroup, or God just sends you in certain areas, you got to move, okay? You got to be ready to move, pivot, transform. And that's what I did because when I originally, and this is a little bit about me, y'all. So you're going to learn a little bit about Mel today before I get into immigration. But when I moved to Atlanta in 2012, it was kind of a dark time. I wasn't moving necessarily because I loved Atlanta. It was kind of circumstances. And I didn't feel like Atlanta was my place. I didn't feel like Atlanta was my community, like I was meant to be here. So I struggled for many, many, many years to kind of find my space. Um, and about 4 years ago, I got an opportunity to go to St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and practice law, do what I love doing. And I said, you know what? This opportunity is coming at a time where I definitely need it and I feel it. And I'm going to just take this opportunity and I'm going to jump and I'm going to go to St. Thomas. I'm going to live on an island. I'm going to still practice law in Atlanta. I'm going to still practice law in St. Thomas and around the world, but I'm going to do it on my terms. And I moved, it was kind of during COVID time. So I was kind of back and forth because of COVID, but I got an apartment, I got office space sharing with another awesome attorney. And me and my dog Max packed it up and we moved to St. Thomas. And let me tell y'all, that was the best for me and my soul and my spirit ever. I'm talking ever. I had an opportunity to work on me without all that noise in your ear. And for any of you, women, men, young, kids, children, whoever, ever understand or ever have that situation where you got too much in your ear, you got too many people in your ear, you got too many situations just kind of gnawing at you, it's time to take a break and reset. And that's what I did. And I just worked on me. I found my community. Let me tell you, Caribbean people are everything. All right. Everything. Um, just so loving, so embracing, so like when I say I found my tribe, I found my tribe. Okay. I went down there, I made major connections. I had more hugs by people down there that I didn't even know that I had ever had my whole entire life. Okay. And it just made me feel like this is where I'm supposed to be at this time. Because everyone has a season. Everyone, there's times, there's seasons, there's things, in your life. And like I said, you got to move with it. And that was my season to be there, reset, regroup, find me, find my purpose, and really come back. And when I tell you, I came back like with a vengeance, I came back with a vengeance. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew exactly who I was. I knew exactly how I wanted to change the world one immigrant at a time, basically, and move forward in this crazy, vast world that we live in. So that's what I did. So, all right, on to immigration news, y'all, because like I said, there's a lot of things going on. I got to go to my notes because there's so much. All right. So, can we get into the whole presidency and things like that? Because I keep it real, I keep it transparent. I don't care what anybody else has to say or anything like that, because I'm going to let you know how I feel. And right now, we've got a lot going on with, you know, Trump trying to come back, okay? And then Kamala, at the forefront right now of a woman running things, all right? Who is very, very for the immigrant community. So, um, President Biden obviously is currently in office, and he presented a bill, all right, where he wanted to allow, and this was going to allow about 500,000 immigrants who were here in the United States to be able to stay in the US and get a green card. So it was a path to citizenship if they're married to a United States citizen and they came to the US without a visa. All right. So they came technically what we call illegally. Um, and there's some parameters for that, and we'll talk about that. But that was called the Biden Parole in Place program. All right. And that came out like June 2024, something like that. As of August 19th, 2024, we were going to be able to accept applications. If you met the criteria, and the criteria was, obviously you had to be in the United States continuously, all right, um, prior to June 17th of 2014. So 10 years. Okay. So up to by June 17th, 2024 or 2014, you had to be here for basically 10 years in the US. So that was the date, 2014, June 17th, you had to be here by. Have legally married a US citizen on or before June 17th of 2024. Okay. So present in the US for 10 years, married to a United States citizen on or before June 17th, 2024. of course, have no or disqualifying criminal, convictions, arrests, things like that. And of course, you had to go through the whole biometrics, and you have to have undergo, national security checks and everything. So this was put in place. All right. Everybody was ready to jump. Now, mind you, immigration attorneys weren't ready to jump, because we always know when there are new, um, processes, new legislation, new bills, and stuff like that, when it comes to immigration, there's always going to be some sort of glitch. Okay. Because we keep it real. It's reality. It's going to be a glitch. There's always going to be states, okay, Congress people, all right, who want to halt, all right, that particular form, that bill, that legislation. Um, and they don't want it to move forward. All right. So I know the immigrant community got totally, totally excited. All right. Because they're like, yes, this is a path for citizenship. It's a path for my green card. I can go ahead and get this done. I don't have to leave the United States in order to get my green card, because I can adjust my status here in the US. That is what this bill was allowing immigrants to do. And 16 states said, heck no, we ain't having it. And so, of course, what they did, they filed an injunction to get it stopped, to get it halted. And that is where we are right now. So I know it sucks, but this is how immigration goes, y'all. This is how it goes. And yeah, I always feel some type of way when presidents do this in an election year. You get what I'm saying? Because if you think about this, this could have been done 3 years ago. All of the glitches, all of the court hearings, all of the disputes, all of that could have been fixed, settled, adjudicated, and now we could be moving forward with these applications, getting them approved. All right. But what happened? Okay, it's an election year. Oh, I'm gonna, come out with this. We're gonna keep families together, because that is like the bill. We're gonna keep families together, and we're going to implement this form of legislation. So where are we right now with it? Right now, so what's basically happened is the states have, you know, they basically have challenged it. Okay, these 16 states have challenged it. Then what happened was, it went to the Court of Appeals to address, because there was immigrants that are like, this is affecting us, okay? So how can you, challenge this? Because do you really have standing to challenge this as a state? How is this damaging, what I'm saying, your state by you challenging this bill and not letting it go forward? So a group of immigrants went in and was like, we got standing to challenge you challenging this because it affects us. So now it's at the Court of Appeals. All right. And now that it's at the Court of Appeals, they basically need to make a decision. What's going to happen? Are we sending it back down to the states to make a decision? Are we going to have a hearing on it? And what they decide to do is that they're going to have a hearing on it. And the hearing is October 10th of 2024. So I think just in a couple weeks, maybe a week and a half, because we're almost there. And this hearing will be to address, the immigrants' cases that they basically filed to go against the injunction, and address, the injunction on going against the bill. What does that mean for you all? All right. So if there were any applications that were already approved, and I think it's prior to like August 26th of 2024, because we could have started filing applications in August 19th of 2024. So if there was any applications that were approved prior to the 26th of 2024, those are moving forward. And the next step would be able to adjust your status and file for that, or get a work permit, work authorization, and so on and so forth. Anything after that has been submitted is just on hold, and nothing can be done with it. So it's going to be on hold until there is a decision made on whether or not this is going to move forward. So what does that mean for you all? So if you got any applications currently in the system, understand that they're still on hold, okay? If you are someone who qualifies for this and you meet those initial qualifications, still reach out to an immigration attorney, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're telling people still contact us. We will let you know what documentations and things like that you need to be able to move forward, understanding that we can still submit, okay? So we can still submit your petition. It's just going to be on hold until there's a decision made, all right? Now, what we've been telling our clients, like our current clients, not clients that are new, but our current clients that are in a situation to where they currently haven't approved, like their first approved step with us, the I-130, and they're waiting on their waiver because they enter the U.S. illegally without status, which means they have to file a waiver to ask the government to forgive that, allow them to go back home so that they can have their interview in their home country to come back to the US with their green card. That is the step that the parole in place, keeping families together, legislation is basically wiping out. So you don't have to do that. So what we're doing is telling our clients who are currently in that position that we're still going to keep that. We're not withdrawing any sort of applications or anything like that, but we will, in addition, we will file the new application for the Biden parole in place and see which one comes to fruition, basically. Because then that way, if this parole in place does not continue, they decide that, you know, for some reason it's unconstitutional, whatever, they're going to cancel it, whatever, you still have your other application in place, which is going to just still continue to move forward. So you don't miss out on anything, you don't lose out on anything. What I'm telling our clients, because in all transparency, if it doesn't move forward, you're going to lose out on a little bit of time and some money, because obviously that's another filing that you have to pay for, but you still have your original route that you were going to go. And so at the end of the day, you're going to get a green card. Which direction, you're getting your green card is what's going to determine this. So like I said, so still reach out to an immigration attorney and still go ahead and move forward if you meet those original qualifications, even though it's on hold. Now let's talk about, because I looked up some statistics, you guys, because I was really interested to find out how many immigrants there really are here in the US. Because if you guys heard or listened to the first debate, and of course, I'm not going to get into, you know, what that was all about. But at the end of the day, if you did listen to it, all you heard Trump say was immigrants are coming to the US and they are criminals and they are committing crimes and they're doing this and they're doing that and blah, 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 blah. Statistically, it's not true. Okay. And I think there was somebody, and I can't remember after the debate, but I remember they went through the statistics and things like that to show that, first of all, crime has decreased. And second of all, it's US born people, basically, who are committing more crimes than immigrants are committing crimes. So the word immigrant and criminal is not synonymous, you guys, okay? At the end of the day, people are people, all right? You got bad apples all over. You got bad lawyers, you got bad doctors, you got bad immigrants, you got bad Black people, you got bad white people, you have bad apples all over. A society in general or in whole is not a bad apple. That's like, back in the day, obviously, when they were talking about, oh, Black people, I'm saying Black men in general are criminals, I'm saying, because, they're the most people that are committing crimes and they're this and they're that. No, because what's happened is you got this stereotype, all right? And now you've got people police, stuff like that, who are stereotyping people and now not doing their jobs efficiently and effectively to, let's say, maybe find the real criminals. Do you guys know how many Black men are sitting in prison right now who actually are innocent? Go look up those statistics and go look up all of the organizations that do the like the access to justice and the the clemency type of filings and stuff like that. It is amazing, what you will find on that, and it's crazy. So I won't get on my soapbox, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing. Immigrants is not synonymous with criminals. um, so according to this census that I researched, how many people in the US are immigrants? Okay, so immigrants, just the word means you were not born a US citizen. Okay, so this can be a green card holder. This can be, a green card holder who then naturalized who became a US citizen. This could be an undocumented person. So it's as a whole. Foreign-born population in 2023 reached a record 47.8 million people in the US are foreign-born nationals. It basically has increased by 1.6 million from the previous year. So do you know what that means? That means that the immigrants today in the US account for 14.3% of the US population. That is huge, all right? That is major. Now, what I want to talk about though is the workforce, okay? Because another thing is a lot of people want to say immigrants are taking our jobs. Trump wants to say immigrants aren't contributing to the US and the economy, and they're just here and they're useless and they're not doing anything and they're just committing crimes and so on and so forth. No. All right. Lawful immigrants, okay, so those are ones that are here legally, all right, green card holders, just DACA recipients, TPS, temporary protective status, immigrants that are here on actual, employment-based visas, stuff like that. They make up 22.2 million of the workforce. 22.2 million people in the workforce are immigrants, paying taxes every year, contributing to society, making something of themselves. That is huge. And that is huge for the US economy. That is why we need to continue to see the influx. We need to continue to see a melting pot. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we are. That's what makes up the US. That's what makes us so special, is because we have a diverse culture of so many different people contributing to this world. Why would we want to stop that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would we want to stop that? That makes no sense whatsoever. And so, you guys, that is why I do what I do, okay? That is why I love immigration. Like, that is my passion. Not only immigration, but advocating, and, you know what I'm saying, advocating for my people, Black people, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's all of us that make up this world, all of us. Um, and we contribute so much to society. It is just amazing. And the culture and things like that. I remember this was so amazing. We had a case where it was a nonprofit, all right, and the nonprofit was a specific demographic of immigrants, and they wanted to bring over someone from their country to basically show their board of directors, okay, because nonprofits, operate with a board of directors and things like that. And of course, the board of directors can be business owners, white people, Black people, a diverse group, but they wanted to bring over someone from their culture to perform for the board of directors to show them their culture and what they're all about. And I was so excited when we took on this case because we were able to research their culture and research what they actually were trying to do and show, people here in the US. And we got that visa, and it's called a P. It was a P3. It was called a P3 visa, extra. No, culturally diverse visa, okay? Culturally unique visa. We were able to get that visa approved, and this like singer, songwriter, rapper was able to come from their home country, come to the US, perform for their board of directors, and show what their culture was all about. And I heard the event because I wasn't here in the States at the time, so I didn't get a chance to go, but I heard their event was awesome. It was phenomenal. I heard it like blew their board of directors away, and it really like educated them on what what this group, okay, what this group of immigrants were bringing to the US. And it was absolutely fantabulous. Um, and that's why I do what I do. That's why I love what I do because I see, how everybody talks about you see the fruits of your labor. I see the fruits of my labor. I do. I see when, a gentleman or a female, because it could be both of us, falls in love with someone from another country because they were visiting, that country at a certain, time. They fall in love with somebody and they want to bring them here to the United States. So we're able to get them a fiance visa, and bring them here to the US. They can get married, and then the significant other can get their green card. Um, Thus the show 90 Day Fiance, which I think y'all already know that is like my favorite show in the whole entire world. And it is called 90 Day Fiance because they have to get married within 90 days of coming to the US. So that's why the show takes you through all of that stuff, which is kind of funny. But I see all of that, and I see, the love and the passion and everything. The whole thing about keeping families together is real. Like it's huge. I mean, can you imagine if, your father, your mother, whatever got separated from you for whatever reason, um, just because of their status type of thing. Um, and that's why, Biden implemented this program because it was the keeping families together. We always hear that, but that is the program. And that is why he wanted to do that, because that would allow over 500,000 immigrants who are here in the US without status, who entered illegally without status, who are married to US citizens, to go ahead and adjust their status and get their green cards without being separated from their family for any particular amount of time because they have to leave and come back. All right. Um, a lot of people ask about Project 2025. And you guys, this is gonna, when I say that I reading that was like reading a bad horror story. I mean, it is it is the epitome of stupid. Okay, if you can say, propositions are stupid. Um, and if you remember Trump in the debate, he alleges, I don't have anything to do with Project 2025. Like that wasn't me. But yet his, signature basically is all in it. All right. So, in a nutshell, I guess what that is trying to say is that it's almost like they're trying to, let's say, close the borders. Okay. So, in other words, this whole thing with quote unquote illegal immigration, okay, crossing over the borders and everything like that is going to come to a halt. But don't forget, there is constitutional way. Like asylum is a real thing. Okay. Asylum is a real thing. And we have allowed that because that is in our laws here in the US. You know what I'm saying? You can knock, knock, knock. That's what they call it. Knock, knock, knock on the US door seeking asylum because you are in fear of persecution from your home country. You are running away from gangs. You are running away from the military. You are running away from the government, okay, of your home country to a safe space here in the US. All right. And so it's like it's trying to get rid of that, okay? But you can't get rid of that. That is what we have already established as America, as US, as we are your safe haven, okay? You can come to us if, things are so bad in your home country that you fear living there and you fear raising your family there and things like that. Obviously, what has happened throughout the years, and we know this, just like I said, there's bad apples everywhere. But what has happened throughout the years is that people have been taking advantage. Okay, people have been faking. Okay, um, you know, it, and people have been traveling or coming in, they're the wrong way. I understand it, all right. But in their mind, they're thinking, US, safe haven. I want to make a better life for myself and my children and my family. So I'm just going to go, okay? Which we already know that that's not the right way. There is a right way to come to the US, okay? But asylum is literally a legitimate way if you have a legitimate reason to do that. And you come and seek and you knock on the doors and you say, I am here seeking asylum. And that's one thing you all have to remember is that you need to say those words, okay? They have to come out your mouth. And every place that you're traveling through to get to the US, however that journey unfolds, you need to be saying, I'm seeking asylum in the US. I'm seeking asylum in the US. Because then when you get here and you get put into removal proceedings and you get a very, very good lawyer who is able to show your story and you've got, documentation and you've got testimony and you've got friends and family that are, backing you and you have, DHS, which is the Department of Homeland Security, when they write up your story showing he said I'm seeking asylum every place that he went it was like I'm seeking asylum in the US, you have a better opportunity and a better chance to get it approved than just coming to the US and then randomly one day saying, oh, I want to seek asylum, okay? Because that's not how it goes. And additionally, asylum has to be claimed within 1 year of you coming to the United States. All right. So you got to get your petition in within 1 year of you coming to the United States. And if you don't, you have to prove and show that there's reasons, extenuating circumstances why you did not, which is ultimately just going to make your story, make your petition, make everything else harder to prove. Um, Here in Georgia, one thing about asylum cases is really sad because there's literally a 2% approval rate here in Georgia. I'm wondering if it actually increased anytime, but it probably did. But it's like 2% approval rate in Georgia, which is sad. I personally, I have a few asylum cases, but I really don't take them much because, I have a hard time um, you know, taking someone's money, knowing that I can't get your case approved, or that it's, kind of sort of not, it's kind of sort of weak, or it's not really an outstanding story for us Georgian, I'm saying, kind of sort of Southern Republican immigration judges, et cetera, to approve. So that is, I would say, the gist of the whole Project 25 and yada yada yada. But I don't even know if that's going to move forward. Like that's just dumb. Like it's just something that just people just decided around the table to put together and say, oh, this is going to be what's going to come of the U.S. in the next couple of years, which is, anyways. So I thank you all for being here. This was awesome. Like I said, I am refreshed and ready to go and take on the world. I thank WCEG Network for having me as always. You guys can see me here every third Saturday of the month at 11 o'clock. And I will, if I'm not here by myself doing it single, I will definitely have guests on for you to get their perspectives on all things immigration. So once again, I thank you so much for being here. I am attorney Mel LaGrone with LaGrone Law. You can reach me at 678-250-5449. If you are in the U.S. Virgin Islands, you can reach me at 340-626-0778. Um, and www.lagronelaw.com is our website. And of course, we're on all of the channels. So you can find me at LaGrone Law on TikTok, which is really interesting because you guys got to go on there and hear my travel stories with immigrants traveling undocumented. And that's a huge thing. So go on there at LaGrone Law for TikTok. Facebook at LaGrone Law, and I think my IG is actually Mel LaGrone-esque. So I love you guys. I am so thankful for you. I appreciate you, and I will see you next month on the third Saturday at 11 o'clock. Thank you.